Welcome to Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. Be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Please bear with me for this live today. It's going to be a tough one. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use to its balance in favor of fair use. Disclaimer: all defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. This is in Matthew 18, verse 6. But sometimes they want to say about the death penalty, and I'm like, just hang them. Just get a millstone around their neck and throw them in the depths of the sea. Fathers, do not embitter your children, or they will become discouraged. Okay, the reason why I went ahead and ran on that one is because they do have a little sister who was still around when a lot of this was taking place. Brothers Jessie McCormack and Enzo McCormack were murdered. Samantha McCormack and Robert Elmore Jr. killed Enzo and beat Jessie when he was 3 years old. The state come and took little Jessie and Enzo's twin sister and gave him to the father, Joshua. Jessie ended up murdered 3 years later, at 6 years old. Without further ado, like I said, it's going to be a hard story. So we're coming for you. We're coming for you. Come on, we got to stand up against child abuse, all right? Let's scroll this on the bottom of the page, too. If you suspect a child is being abused, call the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-4-A-CHILD or 1-800-422-4453 or go to www.childhelp.org. All calls are toll-free and confidential. The hotline is available 24/7 in more than 170 languages. Hello, thanks for coming in. The story will anger a lot of us. I don't just talk about sexual abuse in here, I talk about all forms of abuse. Hey there, Chris, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Did you get your monster juice today? We'll help you out. Monster Energy. Jessie McCormack, murder. Father Joshua Clark, charged with capital murder in his 6-year-old son's death. This was March the 30th, 2023. Look how precious this little boy. Jessie McCormack murder has shocked many people as he was killed by his father and charged with capital murder. I still think that did the parents ever, did the mother and the boyfriend ever get charged that time when they had harmed him as well? So I'll find out in a minute what I'm talking about, okay? According to court papers, a little kid who died in East Alabama last week from cruelly battered, like I said, 2023. Jessie Taylor McCormack, age 6, died on Friday at Birmingham's Children's Hospital. Joshua D. Clark, 29, has been charged with capital murder. Jessie's younger brother, Enzo McCormack, died in 2019 at the age of 18 months. Samantha McCormack, the boy's mother, and her boyfriend, Robert Elmore Jr., have been charged with capital murder in Enzo's death in Blount County. So the father, Joshua Clark, charged with capital murder. So Jessie Taylor McCormack, age 6, was unconscious and receiving medical attention. Afterward, he was transferred to a hospital in Birmingham. Police on the scene spoke with his father, Joshua Clark, 29, and arrested him for severe child abuse. Jessie died 2 days later in Birmingham, and the accusation against his father was increased to capital murder. Joshua Clark is being kept in jail without bail. Put in mind, he already had previous injuries from the mother's boyfriend, okay, from 3 years before, too. At the time of Enzo's death, authorities observed that Jessie had bruises beneath his ears and chin and a skull fracture comparable to the one that led to Enzo's death, to his brother's death. According to Lieutenant Tim Suits, Anniston's police officers were summoned to Northeast Alabama Regional Medical Center on a child abuse investigation. They arrived to find medical personnel tending to unconscious Jessie. With severe injuries, the kid was taken to Children's of Alabama. Detectives interrogated Clark, his father, and he was charged with severe child abuse. The Blount County Sheriff's Office confirmed the incident, and WBMA, Jessie's 18-month-old brother Enzo, was killed in 2019. And no, I am not related to him. This is my author name. It's not my real name. So my last name is really not Clark. So Samantha McCormack, the boy's mother, and her boyfriend, Robert Elmore Jr., were charged with capital murder, felony murder, reckless manslaughter, and 2 charges of severe child abuse. What happened to Jessie McCormack murder case? Jessie passed away on Friday. Authorities secured the capital murder warrant during that period. Clark is detained without bond at the Calhoun County Prison under Ania's law. This was back, he said. Jessie was in his father's custody at the time of his death. According to court records, Clark and McCormack married in 2018 and divorced 2 months later. They had 3 children together. Jessie, born in April 2016, and Enzo and his twin sister, born 4 months before their parents married in 2018. Enzo passed away on September the 9th, 2019, at Children's of Alabama. His death occurred 3 days after he was critically injured. According to records, Sheriff's Detective Edward Hull interrogated McCormack, who told investigators she was home with the children when they were eating and walked into the other room to use the restroom. She returned to the children after hearing something fall and discovering the 18-month-old was choking and had fallen. She informed officers that she cleaned his throat and he stopped choking. That was around 5:40 p.m. at the time. She stated that after seeing he wasn't doing well, she cleaned him and decided to take him to the hospital. She waited until her grandmother arrived from Oneonta to look after the other children, the victim's twin sister and Jessie, who were there then. Boy, 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 boy. Here is the obituary for Jessie Taylor McCormack. That was 2016 to January 20th, 2023. Celebration of life funeral service for Jessie Taylor McCormack, 6th of Alexandria, was held Friday, January 27th, 2023, at Anniston Memorial Funeral Home. The service had started 2 p.m. We'll just go on further below that. It is buried at Edgemont Cemetery in Anniston, Alabama. So let's go to this one up here. You see, mom exposed her son to horrifying abuse. She stopped for cigarettes on the way to the hospital. Samantha McCormack and her ex-boyfriend, Robert Keith Elmore Jr., have been convicted of killing 18-month-old ENZO McCormack. Here is the sweet little child here, the sweet little boy. And this was updated on July the 9th, 2024. An Alabama woman, and there's a credit, there's a GoFundMe. An Alabama woman has been sentenced to 25 years in prison for her role in the murder of her 18-month-old son, who died as a result of her then boyfriend's abuse. Samantha McCormack, 29, has pled guilty to felony murder during the course of child abuse in the 2019 killing of her son Enzo McCormack, according to court documents cited by Alabama.com, WBTM 13, and WBRC. Her plea ended on Monday, July the 8th, comes less than a year after her ex-boyfriend, Robert Keith Elmore Jr., 32, was convicted of capital murder for killing Enzo, per Alabama.com and WBRC. Elmore was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole following his conviction, per the outlets. But see, she's still got a little smile on her face in a way. Even though it's just upturned a little bit, but it's still a smile. On September 6, 2019, Blount County Sheriff's personnel responded to a hardware store in Locust Fork, Alabama, regarding an unresponsive child. Alabama.com, WBTM 13, and WBRC reported. When police arrived at the scene, the child was in respiratory distress and his body was cold. District Attorney Pamela Casey said, per WBRC. Samantha told police that she had found her son choking on cereal earlier in the day and was on her way to take him to the hospital when she stopped to buy cigarettes and gasoline. How come you waited so long? You know, you said he hadn't been doing better since you got him for choking, right? She met Elmore's sister inside the store. The sister found the child unresponsive and helped Samantha call 911, according to the sister's testimony during Elmore's trial. When police spoke with Elmore during the investigation, he said he dropped Enzo after the child pulled his chest hair, per investigators WBTM 13 and Alabama.com reporting. Enzo died as a result of Elmore's abuse, including the blunt force trauma and shaking that had nothing to do with being dropped. See? Blunt force trauma and shaking. And remember, the other boy, Jessie, had injuries consistent, similar to what Enzo had. So no, that cannot be coincidental. That had to be abuse, right? From when before when they got arrested for messing with Jessie. Casey claimed that Samantha left her child with Elmore despite knowing he abused the boy. You know when he abused the boy, why are you even living in the same house as him, all right? Why you even have somebody that's going to harm your kids in your home? A doctor who had examined Enzo told the court in 2023 that the child had been subject to severe trauma and had been violently shaken. This story is horrifying. Casey said in a statement, according to Alabama.com and a couple other news places. I cannot imagine the pain and suffering this child endured before succumbing to his injuries. I cannot understand someone doing what Elmore did, but as a mother, I cannot understand how a mother could leave their child in the care of someone the mother knows to have been abusive to the child. I wondered if they lived together, right? There it is again. If you suspect child abuse, please write this down, okay? Call the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline at 1 800 for a child or 1 800 422 4453 or go to www.childhelp.org. All calls are toll free and confidential. The hotline is available 24/7 in more than 170 languages. So here's where the father it says updated. Joshua Clark is currently being held at Calhoun, and this is when was this? This was 2023. That's when he was arrested. He's currently being held in the Calhoun County Jail. There's no bond set for Clark due to Nice law, according to the police department. Evanston police officers were called to Northeast Alabama Regional Medical Center in reference to a child abuse case Wednesday. Yeah, we read about that. And going Friday, police were notified the child did not survive the injuries and died at Children's Hospital. So we're going down here and share this right here too. Sheriff Mark Moon said a child killed this week was also the victim of alleged abuse by McCormack and Elmore in 2019. Officials confirmed the child, who was 3 years old at the time, suffered a skull fracture. The child, along with another sibling, were transferred into DHR custody. Both children were in Clark's custody prior to this week. So I'm hoping and praying the little girl was not abused as well. Who knows, right? Hello there, Jonna. Yeah, that's a death sentence, yes. Your kid is more important than some. Yes, it's the smokes. You got that right. And did you notice it said a different kind of thing? Because she was supposedly stopped to get gas and cigarettes. I mean, you said your child earlier in the day was choking and he was not doing better. Why wouldn't you taken him sooner? Okay, why didn't you call 911 sooner? Do you not have the smarts enough to have done that, or were you just afraid that what they was going to find in your home, there's probably going to take your other kid away at the time too? But luckily, whoever took your other son you took him to the hospital as well, and guess what? Had injuries similar to what the baby had. What a sicko! It's truly sicko. I want to bring out a little bit of awareness of something else. Also, let me share my screen again. Please go and support this at Facebook. I'm begging y'all. Okay, the healthy ostrich herd has developed and demonstrated natural immunity to the Frankenvirus bioweapons main ingredient, H5N1. Therefore, they potentially hold the key to survival of humanity. Therefore, culling of this healthy, precious herd will be a definition of crime against humanity. He has sent information on this to the White House and asked for President Trump to intervene by any means necessary. Now, let me show you where this is. This is the world. The world is watching, okay? And this is with the group Universal Ostrich Farms. So please join this. I don't know whether or not praying that the police will walk in. They want to go and kill the 400 ostriches today. The police cut off their internet. They cut off other things where they could just go in there and kill the 400 animals. One previously had died of avian flu, but the rest of them were healthy and everything. They're not sick. They got uh, they're immune. Yes. So y'all, please go and support them right now. There's a big standoff and there's everything going on, and that because of these birds are able to have the inside the eggs, you could rub it on your skin if you got psoriasis, if you got other kind of health conditions. There's been so many purposes of these eggs, and that's what it boils down to. They do not want people to be able to have the way that's going to survive us, with the medications and stuff. So please go and support them. Like it gets said again, it is called the Universal Ostrich Farms. And let's hope and pray because the police are all out there right now as we speak. But they're right now. So please stand up, y'all. Please go and stand with this family, the friends, the community. So that I'll get that out there as well. I want to say God bless y'all. Thanks for coming. And this is a senseless crime right here. And you better believe that they probably injured the daughter as well, because like Enzo got a twin sister, right? I'm wondering how the twin sister is. Did she have any injuries from from Samantha and Robert? Did she have any injuries from Joshua, the father, right? I don't want to find out where she is. Let's just pray for her and let's hope that she's with a good family who will protect her from any harm that the two of her siblings had lost their lives over these bad people. Yes, Samantha might not have been the culprit, the one that actually abused, but she stood around knowing that he was abusive and did nothing. Even left the kid with her again, with him again. So, Lord, we got to speak up, please. Let's say thank y'all. God bless y'all.